Vayishlach, Perek Lamed Vav, Pasuk Yud Beis. The Pasuk tells us about Eliphaz, the son of Esav, and it says that he had a pilegesh, he had a concubine, Timna Haisa pilegesh, the Eliphaz ben Esav. And the Pasuk says that Eliphaz and this pilegesh, his concubine, had a son. His name was Amalek. The Amalek that eventually would cause the Jewish people tremendous difficulty, problems that we suffered for generations after generation. And first question on this pasuk is, why does the Torah never tell us about Eliphaz's wives? Just jumps to tell us about his pilegesh, his concubine. How about a list of the wives? It just listed Esav's wives. Why not Eliphaz's wives? So Rashi picks up on that. And Rashi tells us that it's coming to tell us the Gdulaso shel Avram, the greatness of Avram. That here, this woman, she just wanted to connect to Avram's family, and even if it meant that she'd end up being a concubine, I'll do it. That's what I want. In fact, she was from a royal family, from royalty, so she was from good stock. And she says, look, I'm willing to put myself as a pilegesh, as a concubine, just to connect to Avram's family. Okay, that's very beautiful. Highlights how amazing Timna was and how amazing Avram's family was. If you'd have asked me, I would have left out the fact that they gave birth to Amalek. Here's such a special lady. She did such an amazing thing. She gave up on royalty, on her family, to marry into this family. So you don't have to mention that Amalek came out of there. What's the next part of this pasuk that tells us that Amalek came out? So the real answer to this is based on a Gemara. The Gemara says in Masechah Sanhedrin, and Daf Tzadi Tesamid Beis, 99b, the Gemara tells us a story about Timna a little bit in more depth. And it says that she came, in fact, she did come from royalty, and she wanted to convert. She didn't just want to marry in. She wanted to convert to the religion of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. She wanted in. And they rejected her. For whatever reason, some of the commentaries explain she was a mamzer, she had issues, and therefore they pushed her away. And then the Gemara says that she had birth to Amalek from this union with Eliphaz. And the Gemara asks, why? Why did Amalek come from such a union? And the Gemara says it was a punishment for pushing her away. They shouldn't have pushed her away. They should have brought her in. And the fact that they pushed her away, therefore Eliphaz came out of that. And now we understand why the pasuk mentions this. Because they're related. Timna wanted to convert. She wanted to join the tribe. She wasn't allowed in, and that's why Eliphaz came out of it. And that's exactly what the Torah is hinting to us over here when it specifically brought out this union between Eliphaz and Timna. Didn't mention the wives because that wasn't significant, but there was this lady who tried to get in and they pushed her out, and the point was that afterwards they got punished by Amalek coming out of it. Unbelievable. Now, just as a side point, naturally, the way we would have interpreted history would be the exact opposite. Here you hear a story about Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the people that we're all trying to emulate, right? And you hear that they pushed away some lady who wanted to convert. So the natural reaction would have been, oh, you see? Those geniuses. They knew. Look what came out of her. A horrible nation, Amalek came out of her. Oh, they were right. You see? The Gemara does the exact opposite. The exact opposite. It was because they pushed her away that Amalek came out of it. And it's a punishment. Meaning, on some level, again, the Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov were living on a level way above us, but on some level, they made a mistake. And they should have tried to be Makarev, even Timna, who they deemed unfit. Maybe they wouldn't convert her, maybe that's true, but they shouldn't have been rechuke, they shouldn't have been marchik her, they shouldn't have pushed her away. They could have taught her how to be a good Gentile. They could have taught her the values. They could have done it maybe in a different way. Again, we can't judge them. But the Gemara explicitly tells us that even Timnah, who they thought was unfit, there was a punishment, and our enemy, Amalek, came out of it because of that. We find something very similar. The Torah is not shy to tell us when there were mistakes that were made, and we're supposed to learn from that. In Parshat Lech Lecha, the Pasuk tells us, the Pasuk says that there was a war between the 4 kings and the 5 kings, and Melech Sodom came to Avram afterwards and he said, Vayomer Melech Sodom el Avram, Tein li hanefesh, I'll take the people, v'arechush kach lach, and you get to keep the money. And Avram says, no, I don't want the money. But he didn't take the people. The people of Sodom, Avram did not take him. And the Gemara says in the Dharma, and Daf Lamed Beis and Aleph, the Gemara asks the following question. What did the Jewish people deserve? What did they do to deserve that they had to go down to Mitzrayim for 210 years? What did they do? And the Gemara gives 3 answers. One of the answers, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, because of this pasuk, that Avram should have said, I'll take the people. I'll take the people of Sodom, and I'll be Makariv then. I'll bring them closer. I'll show them the light. But instead he gave them over. He said, okay, you want to take them? Fine. They're all yours. So because he didn't reach out to the people of Sodom, don't forget what happened to Sodom later on. These people weren't the best of the best, right? Because he didn't try to be Makar of them, he didn't try to bring them closer, so the Jewish people were punished to go down to Mitzrayim for 210 years. Unbelievable. Now, we can only imagine, right? We all know, Chazal tells all over the place that Avram was the Kiruv superstar. He was always reaching out to people. His home was open. You'd bring them in and you'd show them towards Hashem. That was his whole mission in life. So it must be that these people of Sodom, Avram saw that, no, I don't think so. Not these guys. There's no chance with them. And therefore, it was a calculated decision. It wasn't that Avram was lazy. He made a calculated decision that these weren't the right people to try to bring closer to Hashem. And the Gemara says that he was punished, and his descendants had to go down to Mitzrayim. Earlier in this week's parsha, we find the exact same thing. Once again, the pasuk says, earlier in the parsha, Perek Lamed Beis, Pasuk of Gimel, Yaakov was about to meet up with Esav. Vayakam balayla ahu, he got up in that night. Vayikach eshtei nashav, he took his wives, veshtei shivchosav, the maidservants, vesachad asar yiladav, and his 11 children. Vayavoras mavar yabok. They went, getting ready to meet up with Esav. So Rashi quotes, V'dina heichan ha'isa. The 11 sons were there, but where was Dinah? He had a daughter. Yaakov had a daughter. Where was she? Natna b'teva v'nal b'faneh. He locked her in the suitcase. Rashi quotes the Medrash. Dinah was hiding. He locked her up. Shelo yitin ba'esav einav, because he was scared that his brother Esav would find, he'd see the family, he'd see Dinah, he'd have feelings for her and want to take her as a wife. Yaakov was punished for doing this. Shemana me'achiv, that he held her back from his brother. Maybe if he would have gotten married, if he would have let her get married to him, she would have been Makariv him, and Esav HaRasha would have become a better person. V'nafla b'yad Shechem, and this is why the episode a little later on in the parsha, that Dinah fell captive to the people of Shechem, the Medrash elaborates on this and said, you could have married her to Esav, someone who had a bris milah, and she ended up with people that didn't have a bris milah. You could have married her in a kosher way to Esav. Instead, he got taken by the people of Shechem in a non-kosher way. Punished for not allowing her to get married and be Makariv Esav. Now again, look at this. We do not do this, right? We all know this. We don't marry people with the hopes of changing the person. And we don't marry people with the hope that, okay, look, she's a Russia, but, we could try to be Makariv her. We don't do that. And all of a sudden, over here, Yaakov he said, I don't want my daughter falling into the hands of Esav. We're not talking about like a person like on the, on the fence. It was Esav. Bad news. Yeah, bad news for the Jews. And he was punished because it could have worked. Now again, this on levels that we need each case to understand and a deeper level, but I want to take it on the superficial level for now because that's also a level. And it says very clearly in these three examples that our avos, tremendous tzaddikim, were punished with grave punishments, serious stuff. For pushing away Timnah, we got a mullik from there. For not taking on the people of Sodom, 210 years in Mitzrayim. And for not being Mekarev Esav, Dinah ended up with a horrible event in Shechem. So what do we learn from here? We learn from here something very important. And that is that we all have an achrayus. We all have a responsibility to reach out to everyone. Never can we say that, oh, that guy? Forget him. There's no chance. Now, you might not be able to reach out to him, but we have a responsibility to find someone else that maybe can. Someone who maybe went through the same thing as that person, someone that will be able to answer his questions, someone that will be able to connect him in a different way. Maybe you can't connect him, but someone else can. There's no such thing as that person to write him off. And it even applied to Timnah, who wasn't even Jewish, who wanted to come in. There's no such thing as writing someone off. And that especially applies as we ourselves grow, and we ourselves are developing and becoming better and better and better. The natural psychological way is that, let's say one time we were very quick to speak, very quick to use certain words. Fast to say inappropriate words, or speak in a certain cynical way, and all of a sudden we start to become sensitive to that. Immediately, we start noticing every other person that's doing it, and it bothers us to no end. I love it when a guy comes to complain to me about, my roommate, hello, yesterday you were saying the same exact thing, but not anymore, now I got to move out of the room, right? It's very often, this happens, by the way, in marriages, where one spouse starts to become sensitive to a certain area, and then the fact that their spouse hasn't jumped up that little bit with them bothers them to no end. We have to be cognizant of this phenomenon. And as we're growing, don't dismiss other people. We were there, or we could understand that we were there in other areas, just like that person. We can never dismiss someone. That person can also grow. You grew, I grew, that person could also grow. It's crucial. We can never dismiss anyone. Big punishments came because of that. And we have to remember that in all our relationships. As we're growing, we have to remember that just because that other person isn't there yet is not a reason to write him off. But here comes a very important point. Responsibility. It's easy for us to go ahead and say, okay, we're responsible for everyone. Even that guy who's so difficult and so complicated, from such a complicated background. I mean, here in this yeshiva, I think we all have experienced, whether it's ourselves or other people that have come from complicated backgrounds and come very, very far. So we shouldn't even think about this. But unfortunately, as we grow, we forget that. Okay, so we have to take achrayus. But how does someone take achrayus for other people? So I heard a very beautiful idea, which hit it home for me, and I hope by remembering this, it'll help us remember as well. The word achrayus, Aleph, Chet, Resh, Yud, Vav, Taf. Okay, remember those letters. Aleph, Chet, Resh, Yud, Vav, Taf. Take responsibility. First of all, the first letter is an Aleph. The last letter is a Taf. Taking responsibility means that you take full responsibility from Aleph, the first letter in the Aleph Beis, to Taf, the last letter in Aleph Beis. None of these half-job businesses. Yeah, okay, I'll be nice to that person, or I'll be a little bit responsible. Responsibility means full thing. Now again, if you can't do it yourself, so pass it on. If you see someone doesn't feel well, someone that needs help, and you just can't help them. It's not only in Kiruv. and you want to take responsibility, find someone else that can get them the food from lunch. Find a different rabbi that can go reach out to them and check in on him and see how he's doing. Aleph to tough. You have to take care of the whole thing and then follow up afterwards. Did you reach out? Did the food get there? Full responsibility. Okay. Now let's start again. First letter is Aleph. Aleph represents number one, me, I, ani, me. The first person that we have to take achrayus responsibility for is myself. If I can't take responsibility for myself, if I can't keep my room clean, if I can't get up on time in the morning, if I can't speak in the way that's supposed to be, a person is supposed to speak, if I can't keep my daily schedule, if I can't be respectful and tell my teachers that I'm not going to be able to be here, or I have to do this, or I have to do that, if I can't take responsibility for myself, we don't even begin taking responsibility. So the first is the Aleph. It's me. I take care of myself, which is a big avoda, something that takes a lot of work. Next, Aleph, Chet, Ach. The next person that we take responsibility for is our brother, is our family, the people in our immediate context, our immediate relationship, our immediate Dalet Amos, our sphere, our immediate sphere of influence. It could mean our roommates, it could mean our people in Yeshiva, the people that we're the closest with, our inner family. Ach. You don't have to jump to help someone in California when the guy sitting next to you in the Beis Medrash needs help. It's more glorious when you go after those people. You look better, it feels better, but the people close to you are more important. So the people that are around you, your brothers, you got to take care of before other people. Next letter, Aleph, Chet, Resh, Acher, other people. Here ourselves, Aleph, and our brothers, we're ready to take care of other people. We could reach out to the person we never heard of, the person that we once spoke to. We could go and take responsibility for those people. Once we feel the need for the responsibility and we start taking responsibility for the I, the brother, and the other, then comes the Yud. Aleph, Chet, Resh, Yud. Acharai. We could go ahead and have the person follow me. Follow me. I have something to teach you. I have something that I could share with you. I have a good value. I can influence you. I want to be a leader. You want to be a leader? You could be a leader. But first, you have to take responsibility for yourself, your brother, and other people. When you're ready and you're committed to take responsibility, then acharai. I could go ahead and bring people after me. And then comes people's biggest downfall, and they start to become like a guru. You know, you start bringing people after you, and people flock to you, and people want to learn from you, and it starts to become about me. I feel insulted when they go after someone else. What do you mean? If it's all about achrayus and responsibility, so the other guy's taking care of it, what do you need the guy to come to you for? You're insulted that he asked someone else instead of you? What do you care? As long as it's taken care of, the guy's taken care of at the end of the day, what do you care? Comes the next letter, Vav. Aleph, Chet, Resh, Yud, Vav. Acharav. You have to make sure that you are going after Hashem, after Him. It's not about me. It's not acharai end. It's acharai and then acharav. That everything that I'm trying to bring towards me is really to bring him close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the goal at the end of the day. The value that I'm trying to teach him is not just a value that I got good at and now I can give over. So come, hear my class. I know how to give this over one really well. And you can clap after I give the class. No, it's because I want to bring you closer to Hashem. I want to show you the light. I want to teach you that value. And it happens to be that I learned how to do it in a good way. So here is the class. You don't have to clap afterwards. That's not the point. The point is to get you closer to Hashem. It's acharav. And only then, when you go in that direction, are you taking achrayus. Is that called taking responsibility for other people? Taking responsibility is not a cool thing to do. It's not something that we pat ourselves on the back. It's something that we must do. It's a responsibility. Sometimes responsibilities you don't like, but it's a responsibility. You have to get up in the morning on time. It's a responsibility. You have to keep your room clean. That's a responsibility. You have to be nice to people. You can't get angry. It's a responsibility. You don't have to like it. It's not about that. It's things that we are obligated to take care of. And we have to do it in the order of myself, my brother, my other people. Then we start to influence, and then we are to bring them closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the goal of the Aleph to the Taf of the Achrayas. So lesson to the Achrayas is, and we'll have Siyata Dishmaya if it's that way. If we do it in that order, we'll have great help from Hashem that we can reach anyone. It's not about us. We're not trying to bring them towards us. We're trying to bring them to something much higher. And when people see that, and they see that there's something beautiful in what you're doing, they see that there's something divine, something special. Someone's pointed out to me that one of the biggest kiruv tools everyone knows nowadays is someone went to someone's house for Shabbos and he ate some cholent, and all of a sudden he wanted to be like that person. It makes absolutely no sense, right? It doesn't. The person's not intellectual. He can't prove to you God. Nothing. Just had a nice meal that he invited you to. It's like, what's the deal? It's a good question. No, it really bothered me for a long time. So someone's explained to me a beautiful thing. It's not the cholent. Sometimes the cholent's even not so good, and they still like it. When someone embarks on an act of chesed, of kindness, there's a spark of divine in such an action. When we're involved in kindness, when we're nice to people and we care about people, why are you doing that? Where does that come from? You're acting like God. That's what Hashem is like. Hashem is kulo chesed. Hashem is all everything. The fact that we're talking and we're listening and we're sitting here, it's all every second is kindness, 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 kindness. So when someone experiences people involved in kindness, it's usually subconscious, but they're experiencing the divine. They're experiencing Hashem in practice. And they say, I want to be like that. I don't know what it is. It's not cholent. I can make my cholent by myself, and not become from. I want to be like that. What's that? What is that? I see the way they act towards their wife. I see the way they act to their children. But it's not just they have good values, because that you could do and not be religious as well. But it's about the chesed that's involved, the kindness. It's the divine that's there. So if that's what we're doing, if all of our actions are acharav, it's all about bringing the people closer to Hashem and showing that it's not about us at all. So when people see it, they see that you're real. They see that this is about God. And how can you not be attracted to God? The most beautiful thing in the whole wide world. So should we all be zocheh to learn to take achrayas, never give up on anyone, never look down on anyone, think about how we can help every single individual, but not to forget that it goes within a certain order. The aleph, the ani, the ches, the ach, my brother, then we go for acher, achara, you can bring them to you, but it always has to be bringing to Hashem. We shouldn't get intermingled in the middle of that. Bez Hashem, we'll all be zocheh to take achrayas for the entire world. Shavua tov.